It was actually Ty who really wants that matchup. I know Ty's actually been looking for that one for a minute now. Both of us are open to it for sure. I'd be more than willing to get in there with him. Like you said though, he had a pretty rough one tonight. That KO finish was nasty, and when he is recovered, ready for it, I think a jiu-jitsu match, is probably not as intimidating as someone like
Anatoly.
Anatoly.
Yeah, sorry, it was Ty, my bad.
Yeah, no stress.
I know you called for the couple of guys in your division, Kenny, but you said they're injured, you fighting injured today. So you think they're ducking you or what?
Yeah, guaranteed at this point. Guaranteed, I think so, especially Titan. I don't like to, be too persistent, call too many people out, but it's got to a point where then they either got to take it or leave it, I guess, so I think they are a bit scared.
Yeah, Ty, as you getting the finish tonight and the bonus, is that gym finally complete there now?
Yeah, that probably did it for sure. And we're so stoked to get it done and finished. It's a dream of ours since we were little kids to own our own gym, and to do it in our favorite place in the world, Costa Rica, is just a dream come true. Life's been so good, and really once it's been life-changing for us. And the bonuses from Chautry, so we're just going to keep it going and keep the good vibes rolling.
If you can't have Dorito, who would you love then next?
No, I haven't really thought that far, to be honest. Whoever, my brother has the 170 belt, and I can still make it down to 170 with some time. But I want to be fighting for a belt, and my brother and I can have a match at some point for sure. We can market that, and it'll be a crazy, absolute barn burner of a match.
I'm technically 0-3 against him in competition, so I think I want that one a bit more than he does.
Yeah. But for me, I want to get maybe starting at 185-pound division, and get the belt for there. And then if that doesn't work out, I'm open to fighting anyone. My thing, I love fighting big guys and beating bigger people. I feel like that's the true essence of jiu-jitsu. With pure technique, you should be able to beat someone no matter the size. So really anyone in the world, the bigger, the better.
I mean, I know I've got a few brothers, and anytime I see them getting the spotlight, sometimes I feel a little jealous. I know you're not like that, but seeing him in the co-main events tonight with the big belt, it's a part of you just really. I know you say support each other, but you want that as well for yourself.
Yeah, like I said, we've both gone through waves of opportunity, right? And right now my brother's killing it with the belt and in the co-main, and for sure I'd like to be there as well. But I know my opportunity is going to come sooner or later. So as long as I keep doing my thing, keep submitting and putting on good performances, I'll have a belt around my waist, and I'll be right there with my brother. Yeah.
We have questions from you, Andrea Tan from Jiu-Jitsu Times. For Kate, is there anything you do differently against Mateus doing?
That's a great question. Looking back at the match, it's still matches once you have them are always kind of a blur, until you really go back and watch them. But first things that come to mind, something that my brother told me, is probably attacking the heel hooks a bit more. I got a really tight knee bar attack. That was, I felt a couple pops in there. But I think the knee bar definitely probably could have put him out for good for that match. So probably a bit more heel hook attacks. I was really trying everything I could. People really tend to be very preventative against us. They don't like to go for underhooks. They don't like to wrestle up, things like that, because they know our chokes and things are such bigger threats. So I guess probably going for the heel hook.
Another one from Jiu-Jitsu Times for Ty. Was your call out on the radar fueled by your success in the ABCP Absolute Division of the Year? And what did you learn from matches against heavyweights like Fergali and Pena that would take you to a match against the leader?
Yeah, absolutely. I started fighting bigger people a little while ago, and the reason for that being is because my brother and I, we always were the same size growing up. But the last couple of years, I've had maybe a 5-pound weight advantage on him. So I've just been fighting, going up in division, so we can kind of stay away from each other. Because at the end of the day, I don't like to fight him that much. He's super tough, and it's my brother at the end of the day, right? So I've been moving up, fighting all the big guys, and I'm figuring out the formula. I had some success in the beginning, and every match I have, I'm becoming more and more successful with it. At ADCC, I had a couple little hiccups, but I still didn't even feel like I was outclassed in any way, shape, or form. If anything, I just ran out of time. So I'm really excited to keep it going, keep fighting these big guys. And when Dorito gets all healed up, I'll be stoked to put a darce on him.
Hey guys, Ty, you first. I kind of think most people expected you to just blow through Murat really quickly. Of course, you got the sub. It was a beautiful performance. But were you surprised at all that he hung in there as long as he did? I kind of was.
No, yeah, he's a super, super tough individual. You know, I never underestimate my opponents, but I definitely wasn't expecting his strength for sure. I was also doing my best to make the match as exciting as possible. So I gave up a few different positions I normally wouldn't have, right? Normally I go pass, take down, and submit. And I went for a buggy choke, kind of gave bottom position. That kind of slowed me down a little bit. But yeah, my goal every time I step on the mat is just to give the fans something that they haven't seen before, or something that, you know, really gravitates their interest. So yeah, the match definitely took a little bit longer than I thought, you know, but yeah, it was a really good match, and he's a super, super tough individual. You know what? A lot of respect to Murat for accepting the match even. You know, I'm pretty much in my prime right now. I still got, you know, I feel like a couple more years even to be in my prime. And he's I don't want to say he's older, that's kind of disrespectful, but he's been around a long time. And you know, and also we met at a catch weight on top of that, right? So, you know, he's an absolute beast, and I got a lot of respect for the guy. So I hope to see him again in one and smashing it.
And then another one for both of you, I guess, Dave, you can answer this one since it's out of turn. You know, we get to see you guys fight, we get to catch you at these both like press conferences, but like, what are the moments backstage like after you both win? What do you talk about? I mean, how does that look for those of us who don't get to see that part?
For sure, for sure. You know, my brother and I think we, you know, in the most humble way possible, we see ourselves as the best in the world at our weight, you know. So the first kind of discussion we had after both of our matches were what were our mistakes, you know, and we made sure to tell each other our mistakes. We're never too shy about that. And I told him, don't do that DAR celebration unless you DAR someone. He's like, that's my signature though. So we're always pretty truthful with each other. And I guess yeah, the first thing is always fixing our mistakes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Always trying to better ourselves. And when you have a twin brother, there's no one in the world you're more comfortable with, right? So definitely are each other's biggest critics, right? But also are each other's biggest supporters. So yeah, always celebrate for a little bit of a minute. You know, if it's a great performance, there's not too much to criticize, right? And then yeah, like both of us today made some mistakes. So go back to the lab, fix them, and we'll work on it.
Okay, thanks. Hey, congratulations on it. Did you talk us through that, you know, video game move you did? You twisted up in the air, you ended up catching Gabriel's heel.
Yeah. For sure, man. I was honestly getting a bit frustrated because I kind of was almost expecting something like that, where his guard was going to be very, you know, flexible, very strong, and he wasn't going to be doing a whole lot of risky things, you know. So I just wanted to try and give a show and try my best to throw something crazy out there, you know. Like I've done that pass a couple of times, and then he did a great push off it. So I kind of ended up right where his legs were, and I was like, you know what, I'll just take his leg instead. And it was right there. And I think that was my tightest submission of the entire match. You know, as I said, I felt a couple of little pops in there, and he definitely had a little grimace in his face. So it was definitely pretty tight.
Did you think you're gonna get him to the finish at that point?
I did. After I felt it pop a couple of times, I put my hips in even more as hard as I could, and I thought for sure he was gonna tap. But you know, there's a lot of those type of guys, those style guard players. They've been through it. They've let their legs break so many times. They're almost painless, you know, in those scenarios. I wouldn't say painless, but they just let it go. You know, there was a classic situation. Our first ADCC, my brother and followed me out. One of the nastiest leg breaks I've ever seen, and just didn't tap. You know, those guys are crazy. They'd rather, you know, die than tap, right? So I was definitely surprised he didn't tap though, for sure.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely, thank you.
My question is for Kate. How did it feel to walk out and be announced as the champion for the first title defense?
It felt amazing, you know, just the feeling. It was honestly a bit of pressure as well, knowing that I had to, like I said, you know, it's not really you're a champ until you defend it for the first time, right? So, but just hearing the accolade as I was walking out was amazing, and it's something I can't wait to look forward to the next one as well. I want to hold that for the rest of my life.
You mentioned you were dealing with a injury. How is it feeling now, and how did it change?
To be honest, it felt good during the match. You know, my adrenaline kicked in, and that's something I gotta thank the competition for. A lot of the times you don't feel your injuries with the adrenaline and all that, you know. And I'm feeling it not too bad right now. I feel it especially when I hinge over my right side, but just cruising right here, I don't feel it too bad. So thankful for that. Definitely want to get some work done on it when I get back home, and coming strong for the next one.
So let's have one more question, please.
Okay, so question for Ty. You mentioned in the post-fight interview that you wanted to go for the signature Ruotolo move, the dark chart, the button chart, but you weren't successful and you ended up winning by a wrist lock. Is the wrist lock going to be the next evolution of the Ruotolo game?
Man, shout out Pete the Greek, wrist lock the world. I got a good friend, Pete, man. He's the king of the wrist locks. So yeah, I definitely, when I had him in the triangle, I could have gone immediately to the arm bar, but I wanted to almost do that as a tribute to him. He's such a good guy, Pete. So yeah, I threw in the wrist lock, and it's a super tight submission. We definitely got to keep evolving. I got to get back to the lab with Pete so he can show me some more stuff. But yeah, wrist locks are fun. It's a cheeky move. No one thinks they're real until it happens, right? So yeah, I was stoked to kind of get that wrist lock, turn it into an arm bar. Yeah, it was a lovely sub. Thank you.
Question for both of you. There were a lot of cheers in the crowd when, you know, there was a taken position or a near submission. Obviously, the understanding of grappling among mainstream fans is growing. Do you guys foresee submission grappling becoming as mainstream as MMA anytime in the future?
You wanna go?
Either one of us, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's crazy to see the fans getting more and more knowledgeable with each event. And it's really just up to the competitors to keep it as exciting as possible, right? As long as we keep doing our job, then it should be mainstream no matter what. It's a really exciting sport, and it's a sport where anyone can do it, right? A lot of people only get punched in the face, right? A lot of people, don't want to fight, right? So you can be doing jiu-jitsu your entire life. Like, I know when I'm 50 years old, I'm going to be training jiu-jitsu. I'm not going to be doing any striking, that's for sure, right? I'm going to be cruising. So yeah.
Yeah, man, I think jiu-jitsu is one of the only sports in the world where there's thousands and thousands of techniques and more being created every day. There's only so many punches and knees and elbows, right? There's so many different techniques and there's so many different variations. But like Ty said, it's up to the athletes to make it exciting. And that's kind of been the holdback in jiu-jitsu. A lot of athletes play by the rules, try to squeak out wins. And I think that's why one is the future submission grappling. Their rule set, they make it exciting and they bring exciting people on. So as long as one keeps doing that, the future for jiu-jitsu is bright for sure.
Asking questions from Zoom 4K. There's a trend recently in one where champs move around in weight class. We know you plan on getting a second bout in MMA, but will you stick to your own division or bounce around?
For the submission grappling, I reckon I'll try to defend this belt as much as I can. Stay here for now, especially that my brother is in the division above me, possibly taking on all the big guys right now. As far as MMA goes, I reckon I'll be fighting about 170, possibly even get down to 155 too. We'll see. But yeah, honestly, that we'll see with time for sure. Yeah.
Okay, last question for Ty. What's one thing all fans should know about you? The first thing people should think of when they hear the name Ty Ruotolo.
I hope exciting. That's my main goal, is to be exciting and respectful at the same time. That's what jiu-jitsu is all about, is showing respect to your opponent and going for the kill. So that's what I want to represent. I want to represent jiu-jitsu to the highest form possible. And yeah, I like to think we're doing a good job and keep it going.